All right. Headed home from work. Got to go do a very aggressively hard leg and cardio session. Had some catered Chick-fil-A for lunch, and I definitely fucked up way too many cookies. Have been doing extremely well in the deficit recently. Basically zero cravings except for like one or two times. Like, all right, sure, let's go off a little bit. Let's have a good little lunch. Had one cookie. Um, that could not stop thinking about. So we had about three or four. Who's counting? Who's counting how many cookies we had? Either way, though, we're about 500. I have no idea really how much above the deficit, but we aren't in a deficit today. So I'm gonna go push it on the bike after some legs, but be super fucking full tomorrow. So weightlifters are athletes. They're just like every single other athlete out there. And for the longest time, everything needed to be sport specific. Like lacrosse needed their own workout, their own style of workout, their own exercise selection, their own everything. Baseball, same idea. Everything needs to be sport specific. If you are not doing stuff that is specifically for the sport of baseball, then you're just wasting your time and you're getting less development. Now we know that's bullshit, and really like 90% of your program is going to be extremely general. Baseball players, lacrosse players, basketball players, football players, they all need pretty much the same shit. They all need to get stronger. They all need to get faster. They all need to be more conditioned. And the way you approach all those qualities is all pretty similar across sports. Now you get into some actual sport-specific stuff. All right, like there's our 10%. Like if you're a pitcher, you probably need some more shoulder rotation and some hip rotation work than a lineman because they're not throwing anything besides just other humans. Along that same line, quarterback, wide receiver, all these different positions will have more of an element of sport specificity that we do need to sit onto. But again, that's like a very small part of training. That's like you go through block A, B, C, D, and you're like, all right, we're going to do a couple sets of like these tiny little movements, smaller little muscle groups, focus on a couple more mobility, rotation kind of things. But overall, the program is basically the exact same from sport to sport. And again, started out, Olympic weightlifters are athletes. So then why the fuck do we treat them differently than athletes? Why do we think that Olympic weightlifting is this some special sport where the only way to make progress is just hyper specificity, where we just have to be doing the snatch, the clean, the jerk, the back squat, pulls, all that daily, year round, and that is the only way to make progress? Well, the sport of Olympic weightlifting is the snatch, is the clean and jerk. So yeah, that is gonna take up a big portion. And because unlike football, where the sport is completely separate from the gym, Olympic weightlifting does not have that. So there is going to be a little more back and forth on kind of like that 90-10 split. However, a lot of weightlifters training still just needs to be general as shit. Like, the thing is, like, I had always grown up, I had always had program for me. All I had mostly seen up until past like year and a half, when I really started diving deep and like actually thinking about some of the stuff that I programmed. Let's say your snatch day, your day one, you are going to go do some sort of snatch, balance, overhead squat variation. Then you're going to do a snatch. Then you're going to do a snatch pull. Then you're going to do a back squat. Then some sort of accessories, if people even did accessories. All of that shit is the exact same movement. You're doing an overhead squat. And then you're doing a variation of an overhead squat. Then you're doing another variation of that same pulling position, that same squatting position. And then you're doing a squat, which is the exact same. Like, we're spending entire days just doing sagittal plane back squatting. So looking at specificity there, like, that is nearly as specific as you can get with exercise selection, at least. Like, obviously, like, you just do snatch, clean, and jerk all day. there's your 100% specificity. And the only reason that works is because, one, it didn't matter if the athlete got hurt because there was another one waiting because communism and state-sponsored doping. So we know 100% specificity doesn't work without communism and drugs, or at least not very well. But yet again, we still think that Olympic weightlifting needs to be the super hyper-specific thing where we got to do all these same movements week in and week out, train the exact same patterns. But then also we wonder why all knees hurt, why all your hips hurt, why your shoulders hurt, why everyone has these exact same aches and pains. The thing is, we have kind of just accepted that, oh, if you're an Olympic weightlifter, you're going to have to take some ibuprofen before you lift because of your knees, shoulder, hips, etc., back, etc. And that is just a pure disservice to the athlete. Like, if you are just going to accept that the sport of weightlifting requires you to be hurt and in pain all the time, that's kind of fucked up. And all that really means is that you as the coach do not understand load management. Because again, if we go back to that day overhead squat, snatch, pull, and then back squat, sure, we are doing 4 different movements. But if we stop looking at the exercise and we start looking at the actual stimulus, we see that's the exact same fucking exercise 4 times. It's the exact same fucking position. It's the exact same fucking loading. It's the exact same everything, just 4 separate times. So you're looking at a day, you're doing 60 reps, thinking of 4 exercises, but it's 60 reps of the exact same movement. That's not what we want to do. Nothing fucking general about that. The whole goal of just athletics and like being a coach, unless like you're actually going for like a fucking Super Bowl ring, then yeah, your goal is to win. If you're a good coach, your goal is just to make the athlete better. In many ways, like make them a better mover, make them a better person, make them a better competitor. It's for the athletes, not for the fucking championship rings, but those are really fucking nice to get. I wouldn't know. But I imagine they're really nice to get because I've gotten athletes quite a few medals and it feels fucking nice to see them smile like that. But it's even better to help them like actually enjoy the gym and actually enjoy training. That's a lot harder to do when their plan puts them in constant pain and when their plan is also boring as shit. Like, we also just kind of accept that Olympic weightlifting training has to be boring and monotonous. Like, it fucking doesn't. Like, sure, there is some element of monotony because there's only 2 movements, the snatch and the clean and jerk. So like, there's really, we can only vary that up so much, and you got to train the snatch and the clean and jerk for comp. So like, okay, but like, we can train different positions. Like, all I've been doing for warm-ups for people is a little bit of cardio, a little bit of movement prep. So either some like crawling, some iso, some just moving their spine and moving their body in different directions, getting them warmed up, getting them just moving. And then some plyometrics, so getting them to produce and resist force in different ways. And sure, like, there's a whole aspect of novelty. There's an aspect of, oh, hey, this is something fun. I get a little element of play, so they get to just really have some fun in the gym. But also, we're just building general athletic capabilities. If I'm having you do a deep leap, then yeah, we are practicing your ability to yield and contract in that squatted position, i.e. the snatch or the clean. We are then yielding against that weight in the bottom position and then quickly contracting out of it. Yeah, there we go. That's the exact same shit. That is practice. We do some deep split leaps, same idea with the jerk. Into that position, right back up out of it. And then just overall, like, hey, let's do some bodyweight shit. We do everything as a weighted jump. A snatch is a weighted jump. A clean is a weighted jump. A jerk is a weighted jump. So every single sort of jump we do is maximally weighted. So not a lot of velocity, quite a lot of force. We don't do anything on the other side of the spectrum where we get a lot of more rhythmic capabilities, a lot of more of the like tendon elasticity capabilities. But like, weightlifting needs to be more general, manyfold, like just the training in and of itself to get better athletes, better programming, less burnout, less monotony, just more fucking fun. Like, If we want this sport to grow ever, which it doesn't seem like a lot of time that that's the goal based on like how things get put on and how things happen, it needs to be a sport that like people want to do. And if they're starting this sport and then they're in just constant pain in hips, knees, shoulders, back, because their coach does not understand load management and it's just the exact same movement 5 days a week, then yeah, they're gonna start to fucking hate it. And oh hey, the training's boring and monotonous too. Like, this is stupid. So just overall, like, we need to like, weightlifting is it's a very pretentious sport. And we like to think that, hey, we are better than everyone else because we're not powerlifters. We snatch an Olympic lift. Our technique is the biggest thing that we focus on. It's a really fucking pretentious and dramatic sport. And we gotta get out of that. Like, we are not so different than any other sport. Like, sure, there are obvious differences. Again, like the gym is the sport part. But at the end of the day, like, the rule still applies. Like, the vast majority of our training should be general. It should not be sport specific unless we're actually in those sport specific competition scenarios. We need to just make better movers, make better athletes. If you have a better athlete, they are then able to create more movement opportunities. And if you have your snatch a little bit front, jerk, you got to run it out a little bit, or even behind, or wherever you misplace it. If you have someone who is a better mover and more athletic, they then have more movement capabilities to be able to save the lift, to be able to get the white lights. If you have someone who's never done anything athletic, then you're getting a lot of shit that just doesn't look that good. Better athletes, more powerful, snappier, faster, just more overall, better able to learn more movement problems and get past more movement problems, i.e. just technique. Like, you put them in a position, like, hey, be an athlete, figure out this position, and boom, the better athlete they are, the quicker they're able to find that movement solution and get them to do what you're trying to get them to do whatever the variation is, or fix whatever thing you want. So just having overall better athletes is also going to be easier for you as a coach, because then there's less work for you to do. Like, you don't got to cue them till the cows come fucking home, because they still just can't feel this one thing. You got a better mover, you got a better athlete. They're going to be able to pick up on that a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot easier. So, end of the day, pulling up into the house now. We just need to be a lot more general, with a lot more of our training. Like, get some fucking plyos, get some cardio, get some bodybuilding, get some strength, and get all of these done in like a bunch of different positions. Again, all of weightlifting is just bilateral sagittal. Like, there ain't much more to it. So we do those same exact squatting and overhead patterns every single day, load it up every single day, volume the fuck up every single day. Doesn't work out too well. And for the people who it does work for, great. Those are the genetic freaks who are going to be Olympians, who are going to be world team members no matter what. But like, that's few and far between. There's much more average population, the people who are actually going to pay your bills if you're a coach, the people who you can actually make a difference on. Because if you have a fucking Harrison Marus, if you have a Lasha Talahadze, if you have these people who are just insane out of the womb, really, like, as long as you don't hurt them, they're going to be amazing regardless. Like, you get Gen Pop, hey, you can actually like make a difference here with how good of a coach you are. So that's it. Do more general stuff for weightlifting. Stop it with just 100% specificity all of the damn time.